What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we're going to be hitting up yet another Pokemon Go tutorial, specifically talking about 5 ways that you can save time in Pokemon Go. Whether you are a player who is brand new, just coming back from a break, or maybe even a player who has been playing the entire time, I hope that at least one of these tips does provide value to you. Also, if you have been doing this already, what I recommend you to do is to leave something in the comments section below to let people know that it absolutely does work. And then secondly, if I left something off, be sure to let me know in the comments section. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the episode. The first time-saving tip that I wanted to talk about is actually going to be a fairly old one, and that's going to be skipping the catch animation. This is something that you can do to save well over half of the amount of time that it would take you to normally catch a Pokemon. This is something that I actually recently covered just a couple of weeks ago on my channel. So if you are interested, I will have a link in the description to that. But a little bit of an update. In the video, I said you could only use the Pokeball icon. You can actually use the berry icon as well and do the exact same thing. But I can promise you, this is something that's going to make playing the game so much easier to do and something that you will save an insane amount of time on. The second time-saving point is going to be related to defeating gyms. Defeating gyms can be extremely difficult in some circumstances, especially when you have people constantly feeding the different Pokemon berries. So what I wanted to talk about today is not only going to be a time saver, but also is going to increase your success rate with taking on gyms. Typically what people do is they like to attack across, where you would go up against all 6 of the Pokemon. Then once you defeat them, you would go out and then go back in. But you may have found that there was a lot of issues with that, because by the time you go to the second round, you realize that a lot of people have buried the Pokemon, and then you end up with full CP again, so you end up being kind of stuck with what you're doing, and you end up having to do it 4, 5, 6 times just to be able to clear out a gym. Well, there's actually going to be an updated strategy to that. Instead of doing it that way, I'm going to give you 2 different strategies. The first one is going to be if you are actually battling a gym solo. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graph again. When you are battling solo, the difference is going to be that it might be smarter to actually battle against the Pokemon, back out, and then battle against the Pokemon again, back out, and then battle again. This way, only one person is going to be notified that their Pokemon is being attacked in the gym, and it's going to be less suspicious. All the while, you will be in the gym, so it will be extremely difficult for anyone to actually try to do anything about it. So this is going to basically stop people from burying the Pokemon, and you can eliminate one. Once you eliminate one, since you will consistently be in the gym, you would then move on to the second Pokemon and continue. I can promise you that this is going to be a huge strategy. It doesn't take a lot of time, simply for the fact that you can pretty much go through those 18 attacks, get it knocked out, versus trying to do it the other way and running the risk of having to do a significantly larger amount. The second strategy is actually going to involve multiple trainers, and I can promise you this is going to be something that a lot of higher level players use. And that's going to be the idea that you do a gym battle train. What you will do is, if a person is in a battle, have a second person not go in until the first person moves on to the second battle. Once they are into the second Pokemon, you send in the next person to go against the first Pokemon. And then the chain continues. Once you have 3 trainers, the third trainer will actually get in the third attack that will finish off the Pokemon, basically just because of the way that the decay works in the gym. So there is still going to be 18 battles in total, but the difference is going to be that you split it up among 3 people, so everyone actually only has to do 6 battles. I can promise you, if no one is able to get it quick enough, you're going to be able to take out this gym and beat it in no time. So the third time-saving tip that I wanted to give to you is going to be in regards to hatching eggs. A way to actually do it quicker. And no, I'm not talking about a super incubator, although it is going to definitely get it done quicker. Another way even beyond that is focusing on how distance actually works with hatching eggs. So many people are going to know that it isn't going to literally track your total distance. It's going to do it from a point to another point. So my recommendation is to try to walk in more of the straight line areas. Something like a loop is actually counterintuitive to some degree as far as hatching egg distance goes, because you could end up going a significant amount of distance, but if your loop is too small, you are going to end up having to go 7, 8, 9 kilometers just to be able to hatch a 5-kilometer egg. So this is something that I definitely wanted to point out, and as far as just a little bit more of a detailed strategy, it's going to be that the egg distance tends to update at 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. I haven't really seen anything higher than that on a per kilometer basis. But basically, if you're watching your eggs and you wait for it to update before you go back, if you are maybe walking straight down and straight back, wait until the update occurs and it registers the distance before you travel back. You will save so much time because you're not going to have to walk as far to be able to hatch some eggs. So the fourth point that I wanted to talk about is going to be in regards to the friendship/gift feature. So this is something that was more recently added into Pokemon Go, but it's something that I kind of found myself pulled away from a little bit, mostly because of how long it took to open up gifts. Now I know you're saying, you know, come on, you got to be patient. What is it, like 10, 15 seconds per every gift? Okay, that's great, but when you're opening up 20 of them, that's a pretty good chunk of time. So what I found was that you can actually skip the opening animation for the gifts, and you are going to save so much time doing this. All you have to do is when you open up the gift, you'll click on it and then click the open button. Once you've done that, just click the X button 2 times. That way you don't have to see the actual animation of the different items pull up. You can save a significant amount of time if you do this. So the last tip that I have is left last for a reason, because it has to do with purchasing something to be able to save time. But for me personally, to be able to save time is kind of worth money, so I definitely want to talk about it. And that's going to be the idea of using either something like a Go Plus or a Gacha. Now, a lot of people watching this video have already heard of it, have used it, they like it, they don't like it, but I just want to go ahead and kind of talk about it a little bit. Basically, the difference between the two is with a Go Plus, you're going to have to actually click the button to be able to encounter the different Pokemon. And with something like a Gacha, it will do it automatically. But what I've done with my Go Plus is I've actually modded it to automatically catch the different Pokemon. And the reason why this is going to save you a ton of time is, just imagine this. If you are at a raid or trying to do a gym battle, while you are doing that, you can actually catch the Pokemon around you. So this is going to save time, basically because you're able to multitask. Anytime you can stack different things that you're doing at once, you're going to save time than if you had to spend time on them individually. I can promise you it's going to be a very good investment. You're talking about somewhere between $30 to $50 per one of these. If you are recently coming back to Pokemon Go, I would highly recommend you to check it out. It's something that's going to save you a lot of time. So that's going to be the 5 time-saving tips that I have for Pokemon Go. I definitely enjoy doing a lot of these tutorial videos. So if you have any idea of what you would like for me to talk about, or maybe something that I missed, be sure to put it in the comment section below, and I will see you next time.